Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. This is our morning setups. I'm putting this video out early today at 6:30. I usually don't put this out till about 7:30 this morning. I'm also putting this out there for free. Link in the description to more if you want to join us and learn about us. I do have a live Discord room. We use Zoom for voice and video and a private Twitter feed. Guys, it's gut check day here in the markets. Members, this should not be a surprise to you. We've been talking now for a week about the divergences in the market. And, yesterday I was pounding the table, last couple sessions saying to you guys, if you're long a lot of positions, it's time to reduce, maybe sell some calls against stuff you don't want to sell, put a hedge in at this point, because the market has been flashing some major divergences and warning signs, which we're going to go over, and saying that, hey, while the indexes are at all-time highs, there's some stuff going on under the covers that is just not good. And here we are today, waking up to a vicious down move in the market, and it's trapping a lot of people up here. So we'll see how this takes place. So what do we have today from an economic perspective? We have initial jobless claims and petroleum report at 11 o'clock. We'll see what the Fed has to say. So let's just dive into it. And we do this every day for people who are not with us. On the ES, you can see here the clean break. Now, I've already traded the ES short this morning. I know a lot of you guys can't trade futures, but this is why I got my futures account in the last month or so, because I wanted to be able to take advantage of these situations. Made some nice money. Didn't stay with it long enough, but was happy. On the ES here, yesterday, all-time highs. You can see here overnight we were flat when I was the last look at the futures market. We were up slightly in this area, and then we just started rolling over. And you can see this here thing. They came in, they hammered it at 4 o'clock. And you can see here on the daily chart this huge break, right, engulfing the last 1, 2, 3, 4 days of action at this point, slicing through the 8-day, and here's your 21-day, very, very close. On the NQ, similar but a little stronger, holding here at the 8-day. So the A and Q not quite as vicious right now as the ES, for what it's worth. It's a little bit better of a candle there. All right, what else we have going on there? Crude got smacked yesterday. Crude got smacked on the United Arab Emirates, saying they're going to increase production regardless of what OPEC is doing. Okay, this is the sound we talked about of everybody would start cheating. This one way or other, oil was going to find its way back into the marketplace. That looks like it's going to start happening. Oil finally coming in here. Bonds, oops, wrong one. Bonds, what are you doing? Oops. There we go. Bonds spiking here. Flight to safety, 200 days, your next target. It's right there. Above that, remember, bonds have been beaten up for a while. So if you push above 200-day area, I would look up to the 166 area on bonds and then up here to the 167. Bonds don't move quickly. Just keep that in mind. Gold not doing a whole heck of a lot here, right? Gold up, but not doing much. Same thing with silver, not doing much of anything. And Bitcoin here, selling, right? More pressure on China on Bitcoin, lots of concerns over there. Bitcoin still in this consolidation range between 30K and 40,000 and still stuck. Okay, nothing to worry about there. The VIX is spiking this morning. The VIX here now up and pushing above 20 on this spike. This is something I'll be looking to play if it wants to go. The next gut check here is the 200-day. Right above that, it can go. Notice it just pushed out of the Bollinger Bands this morning. We'll see how this works. The old adage is when the VIX goes out of the Bollinger Band, then closes back inside them, it is a sign to tilt risk back on. We've seen this work every time lately. Right, so right now it just pushed out. We'll see how we close today. If it closes up out of the Bollinger Band, that usually means there's follow through on the next day. Okay, what else is going on? HYG yesterday, nothing going on here. Still holding up at a multi-year high. That's good for the markets. Those are high yield corporate junk bonds, and the transports here still holding up, still holding this range. So, again, divergences continue within this market. When we go to sentiment, this is where things start to get messy. We look at the oscillators. The oscillators basically are telling us whether we're overbought or oversold based a lot upon how many names are making 52-week highs. On the NYMOT, the New York Stock Exchange, you can see we're negative 70. That's neutral, no big deal here. All right, we can go lower easily. We don't consider a really good oversold signal till we hit negative 200. Okay, on the Nasdaq, this is where it gets wild. We hit all-time highs yesterday. We're negative 182. We're almost to a good oversold signal. This is one of the big divergences I've been noticing. And this is just telling us that there's a handful of NASDAQ names, quality names, that are holding this market together. Think of your Apples, your Googles, your Amazons, your Microsofts of the world that have been holding everything up. While under the covers, things have been falling apart faster than you would realize. So, something to keep an eye on here. This is already getting the signal. This could get a big flush. If this market really sells off, this may get another one of these, down here to the negative 400 type moves if this thing really moves. So we'll keep an eye on this to see if they come back for the cues here today. When we look at else, indexed advanced decline lines, another big red flag. The Nasdaq, while making all-time highs, advanced decliners has been rolling over the last couple sessions. The SPY is flat and the Dow is flat. They're holding in slightly better. We look at overall, the put the call reading. Put the call reading is slowly starting to flush its way into neutral, but yesterday spiked back up. Again, people have a lot of FOMO in this market, but we're seeing some, big bearish bets over the last month or two into the indexes. And this tells us that they're loading up here just in case. And here's the other thing that's been weird. Markets are making all-time highs and overall market breadth is coming down. And that is usually the sign of a bad market. Usually breadth leads and the markets follow. So you can see the breadth has been going sideways to slightly down here on the New York Stock Exchange, while the New York Stock Exchange new all-time highs. Not a good sign. On the Nasdaq, it's even worse. Breadth has been selling off while the Nasdaq's been making all-time highs. So here you have breadth leading down, and we're finally starting to catch up. We'll see how far this wants to go. So divergence is all over. Right now, the SPY here is down at the 428 mark. Okay, we're down about 6 handles. It's going to be a lot of people in pain. I'm going to call this to you guys a gut check day. Gut check day is when you come in and you say, well, if I have been just sitting there quietly going along, minding my own business, today I'm going to get a gut check on this market and have to figure out what I want to do. So right now we are going to open, right, well below the 8-day, 21 days here. This is your line in the sand. You do not want to lose the 21 day, right? 21 days at roughly 426.25. So for today, push down to there and we hold, okay, maybe we're okay. I'd still be lightening up into this, maybe putting a hedge on. If you come down, the next spot's the 50-day. The 50-day becomes very, very important, as the 50-day in this market has been extremely strong support off the November lows. And if you look at this chart, held it once here, held it 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 here. So that's your big, that's it. That's it. You lose that, and then we have some real problems on the S&P 500. To the upside today, if you push back, you got to retake the 8-day. If you retake the 8-day, then you see what you can do. You're going to have a big gap to fill today. So we'll keep an eye on that. So how do I plan on days like today? The first thing I do is I sit back and say, am I safe? Number one position is you have to be yourself safe. So if you're already safe like I am and you got yourself out of the way of this, congrats, you're in good shape. If you're not, you need to come in and start doing some maneuvering. Decide what you want to keep, what you want to get rid of. Obviously, short-term positions are the ones that are in the most trouble here. At that point, then you consider how you want to trade. To me today, I'm going to be watchful, patient. I'm going to watch the opening 5-minute candles. We're down a lot. See how we handle it. Do we get a bounce to them? If we bounce today and we fail at something like VWAP or different areas we come into as we get closer to it, I may try to short the market there. I will look to play instruments like the VXX. Why? Because the VXX on days like today, if the VIX runs wild, this thing can fly. VXX is already up to 32 from 29. Wouldn't be a surprise to see if this thing flies. Look at the last time we had some volatility. In 3 days, this went from 36 all the way up to 49. So VXX can fly. I do love trading with that. You can put puts on the indexes, right? The QQQs, if you want to do that, easy to do, or your favorite names. And I like looking names that can move. Names like Apple, right, which has been riding high here. Maybe this one wants to come in today and retest some areas, down quite a bit already this morning. The 8 days all the way down at 139, right? So it could still drop $2 and still remain very bullish. Amazon, another one that if you want to short today and this thing decides it wants to come in, the 8-day is still all the way down here at 35.46, right? So you got another, you got another 100, almost $100, $90 yet before you get to that level, right? So, these are names I would look to short here on this, or the indexes, or play things like the inverse ETN. So for me, that is SPXS. That is the shorts for the SPY. It's 2410. This can move, right? This one can fly up. This one can get going. On the IWM, it's TZTNA. I think it's TNA. No, TZA. Sorry, I always get them confused. TZA, right? Trading at 30. For the Qs, it's SQQQ. Okay, the one problem with the SQQQ, it has no range. And what I mean by that is, see, it's up 30 cents today. It's too cheap, very difficult to trade. You have to use more size there if you want to trade that. So, and now this is what you're going to look out for today. The place to watch is going to be the IWM. So, what I would make sure today is, you see it, have it over here, is have a 5-minute chart up of the IWM and be watching this at all times. The reason is the IWM has been leading down 3 days in a row, already down hard, while the SPY and the Qs and the diamonds are all the way up here at all-time highs. And this is the small caps. If this market's going to bounce, these will probably be the first to bounce and show it here. So again, watch this. You could also scalp it with TNA to the long side if it comes off of it. Bottom line is here, guys, this is gut check day. And I mean that, it's gut check day. Is the market going to completely sell off from here today? Nobody knows, right? We just don't know. Let's just go to the ES. We don't know. We do know that the market's showing lots of divergences, signs of trouble. Earnings starts next week. This could be a shakeout ahead of earnings season. But you have a vicious, big, sharp down candle today coming into Thursday and Friday here on the markets, and earnings don't start till Tuesday. So they could play games Thursday, Friday, and Monday and come back Tuesday and say, we're done. Again, watch this 50-day. Comes a very important spot if we get down to it. This is Mike with smartoptiontrading.com. Link in the description below if you're interested, and I hope you're all doing well. Pay attention today. Got to make some decisions here.